Hello and welcome to my first YouTube video. If you just so happen to stumble across this video, hi and welcome. My name is Megan. I love all things books and am really excited to be officially joining the BookTube community as more than just a watcher. I've been watching BookTube for a very long time and I've always wanted to start making my own videos, so I am finally taking the step and doing that. So I'm really excited to be starting the journey on BookTube. So thank you for being here, and I would love if you would stay a while. So make sure you like and subscribe to my channel so you can see all of my future BookTube content. So I figured the first video we could make for this channel is one of my favorite videos to watch on BookTube. And it's great timing because March is almost over, so it is just about time to pick the books that I'm going to be reading in April. And like I said, I love watching these videos, so I know I'm going to have a lot of fun making this one. So today we are going to be picking my April TBR. I have my trusty TBR prompt jar that I'm going to be using to help pick the books that I'm going to be reading this month. I have lots of different colored paper in here with different prompts on them. So I will use these to help me pick out my books today. Me as a reader, it kind of depends on what the month is and how much time I have to read, or how motivated I am to read, or how much I have going on. But I usually read anywhere from 5 to 8 books every month. So today I think we're going to choose 5 prompts and 5 books, and that'll leave a little bit of wiggle room for mood reading as well. So any books that I want to read that are not on the TBR. But I think 5 will be a good number that we can start with and hopefully get some books read off of the physical TBR. A little about my book taste. My favorite kinds of books are thrillers and mysteries. I also really do love literary fiction or historical fiction. I do read a little bit of romance and just a tiny bit of fantasy. I'm currently reading the ACOTAR series for the first time since it was just announced that she's going to be releasing another book in October. So I figured now is a great time to finally start the series. I've had it for a really long time. So I'm just starting to dip my toes into the fantasy genre. All right, so we're going to go ahead and pick our first prompt out of the TBR jar. I think I'll choose this green one to start off. And this one says, a book that you've had for a long time. So I will do some perusing of my shelves and get back to you when I have chosen a book. Okay, my TBR is pretty big, so I had a lot to choose from for this one, and I've had a lot of these books for a really long time. But overall, I decided to go with a Kristen Hanna book. So this will be my 4th Kristen Hanna that I've read. I've read The Nightingale, I've read Firefly Lane, and The Great Alone. I've loved all of them, so I would love to get another Kristen Hanna on the list for this month. This is The Four Winds by her. I remember this being one of the first books that I ever bought when I started my reading journey. I think I found it at a Goodwill. I was intrigued by the cover and I thought it looked like a good read, but now I've read a lot of Kristen Hanna and I know that I will really like this one. So I think this is a great time to read it. This is a story that takes place in the 1920s, and it's about a family who is living during the Great Depression and kind of what goes along with that. I don't know too much more about it other than that, but I am okay with keeping it that way. I kind of like to go into books more blind. I think I'm going to go ahead and add The Four Winds by Kristen Hanna as our first book for April. All right, second pick from our TBR jar. We'll go with a blue one on top here. This one says, read the next book in a series you've already started. And I know exactly which one I want to pick for this one already because I am currently in the middle of a series, which I was talking about before. I'm in the middle of reading ACOTAR right now. I'm currently on book 3, which is A Court of Wings and Ruin, but I will definitely be finishing that in the next couple weeks here. So the next book in the ACOTAR series is going to be a great pick for this prompt. And it just so happens to be a really short one too. So this is A Court of Frost and Starlight. This is the next one in the ACOTAR series. I've heard this one is kind of more of a fun holiday special. So it'll be a good, easy read to add for April. And then I can continue on with the series afterwards. So I will add A Court of Frost and Starlight to the April TBR as my second book. All right, third pick for the April TBR. We'll go with this peachy one. And this one says a book with a black cover. Okay, the one that I decided to go with for a black cover is The Ministry of Time by Kayleen Bradley. This one I've heard a lot of really good things about, and it's been on my TBR for a long time. I would love to get it read. This one is about a woman who works for an established government ministry, and they are figuring out whether time travel is feasible or not. So she is the one that is known as the bridge, which is the person that assists and monitors the people that are being time traveled to present day. So she is in charge of a man called Commander Graham Gore, and he died in 1845 on an expedition to the Arctic. So he has no idea what present day life is like. So she is in charge of getting him up to speed on everything that's happening in the current day. So it says she teaches him concepts such as washing machines, Spotify, and the collapse of the British Empire. So, kind of an interesting concept, and I'm interested to see where it goes, how their relationship grows throughout the book. So, I'm going to go ahead and add The Ministry of Time as our third book for the April TBR. Next prompt, this is prompt number 4. Go with this green one. This one says a book written by an author you've never read from before. I know exactly which one I would like to pick for this one. And I was hoping I would get this one on the TBR because I'm really excited to read it. This is Just Friends by Haley Pham. I just recently got this one in the mail. I had it pre-ordered. Ever since she announced that she was writing a book, I went and pre-ordered it. I'm really excited to read her debut novel. Just think it's really cool that a booktuber wrote her own book. So I'm really excited to see my thoughts on this one. This is a story about Blair and Declan. They were best friends growing up, and then something happened and they didn't see each other for a really long time. Not exactly sure what that was, but for some reason they didn't talk to each other for a long time. And then they end up running back into each other, and we see where their relationship goes from there. So overall, I'm just really excited to see my thoughts on this one. I think it's going to be a great read either way, and just excited to support Haley. So we'll add Just Friends as our fourth pick for the April TBR. And then our fifth and final pick for the month of April. Go with this blue one. This one says, give an author a second chance. I'm going to look through my shelves a little bit and I will come back once I have one. All right, so the book that I ended up choosing for giving an author a second chance is an author that I've read from a couple of times. I've read 2 of her books prior to this one. I ended up choosing His and Hers by Alice Feeney. So I've read Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. I really enjoyed that one. That was my first impression of her as an author, and I really liked it. And then the second one that I read from her was Sometimes I Lie, and I did not like that one at all. I think I gave it 2 stars. The plot twist was just a little bit strange to me, and it didn't really make much sense, and I was kind of bored through the whole book. So I've had a little bit of both from Alice Feeney as an author, but this one I've had on my shelf for a while, and it did just become a series on Netflix. So I really do want to watch the series. So I want to read the book first. That's just always how I've been. I need to read the book before I watch the movie or the show. So I would love to get this one read so I can watch the series afterwards. So I'm going to go ahead and add His and Hers as my final pick for April. This will be actually the first thriller on the list. So I'm glad that I got to add a thriller on there too. All right, so let's go ahead and recap all of the books that I have on my April TBR. The first book that I added for a book that I've had for a long time is The Four Winds by Kristen Hanna. The second book I added for the next book in a series is A Court of Frost and Starlight by Sarah J. Maas. The third book for a black cover is The Ministry of Time by Kayleen Bradley. The fourth book I chose was to read a new author you have not read before, and that is Just Friends by Haley Pham. And the fifth and final book that I chose for giving an author a second chance is His and Hers by Alice Feeney. So that is my chosen April TBR. I'm excited to get to hopefully all of these. Hopefully we'll have time to get through all of them this month. I'm really excited about this stack. I think this is going to be a great month of reads. Let me know down in the comments what you are going to be reading in the month of April. And again, thanks so much for being here. I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.